go live now.
Okay.
Going live.
You can count me in, Jack. All right. All right, everyone. In the interest of time, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks, everyone, for coming out tonight. We'll go ahead and call it to order. So we'll start off with our roll call here. So from the 1st Congressional District, Commissioner Tobias.
Present.
All right. Commissioner Anthony is not going to be here tonight from the 2nd CD. So we'll move on to the 3rd CD, Commissioner McClellan.
Present.
Okay. Commissioner Rangel from the 4th Congressional District.
Present.
All right. Commissioner Ram from the 5th Congressional District.
Present.
And Commissioner Prentice from the 6th.
Present.
Commissioner Bissonette, I don't see him as of yet, but we'll keep an eye out for him. And Commissioner Phillips from the 8th Congressional District.
Present.
Okay. All right. Well, thank everybody for coming out again tonight, and thanks for the group effort in putting together the revisions to our assembly maps. It was quite a sprint, and special thanks out to Wyatt and Emery and Tony for helping out and kind of putting in 2 really tough days there in the very beginning of it and kind of pressing on. So thanks to you all. And so the next steps that we wanted to discuss or give a little bit of heads up is more so our plans, deadlines, and timeline to be coming up with the congressional and Senate mapping. And so the next bullet point that we have here is sort of plans and deadlines for Senate mapping. As of tomorrow, our line drawer subcommittee will be meeting in order to help put together some of those groupings. The email that I sent out earlier yesterday, it all seems like one day at this point, but it seems that yesterday was to try to get everybody in the mindset of thinking about how we will group some of those assembly districts and Senate districts from the assembly districts that we have here. And so tomorrow we'll be meeting, I don't know if either Anne-Marie or Tony want to kind of talk about what you guys will be doing tomorrow at 1.
Emery, yeah. So yeah, tomorrow at 1, Jack arranged a Zoom for anybody really that wants to jump in at 1 o'clock and can add to the discussion about grouping assembly districts to Senate districts. But we just thought we would start. I think Anne Marie, Wyatt, and I will be there. I think Chris, I think you're working, but and then so if anybody is available during that time tomorrow afternoon, we can have up to 4 commissioners working with Wyatt at a time. And then I think there's going to be more times this weekend that we're talking about. Maybe Chris can address that more, but I think that's our plan so far, right, Anne-Marie?
Yeah, and it's like with the Senate plans, we would do like we did similarly. I think going ahead and having each commissioner look over their area once the line drawers, what we can provide are at least the metrics on the proposed various Senate maps so that we have a good look at what they look like as far as compactness and all our other measurements.
Yeah.
And we would plan to do all 3 assembly maps, Chris?
Right. That's the goal in order to kind of help give Moon the opportunity to kind of turn around and do some analytics on it based as well. So, and that's a good segue into kind of the general timeline for our Senate mapping. And so, ultimately, our goal is to work tomorrow as well as through the weekend to kind of get some of our maps done with a tentative deadline of about Wednesday morning to be able to submit it to Moon. And in that time frame, after the weekend, we can have commissioners take a look at it as well, just to see if there's any changes that you want to make. And it's a tight timeline, but it's definitely something that we want to kind of stick to in order to give Moon the opportunity to take a look at them and provide those analytics before we can submit to the public. Again, the date being September 30th for comment. Any questions based on the Senate grouping at this point, or? Anything that you guys have?
Just to clarify, so
Yep.
folks are meeting tomorrow to put in the assembly districts into Senate districts for map 16, 28, and then the
The third one, yeah.
third one. Okay. Great. Yeah, I just want to clarify which maps you all were using.
Yep. Yeah. Any other questions you guys have?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if everyone wants to drop an email or sign up for a time maybe this weekend when you're available for reviewing the Senate maps. We did it really pretty quickly before, and maybe now you have time to check your calendars and maybe we can squeeze it all into either a Saturday or Sunday. I don't know, Tony.
Yeah, I think tomorrow, I mean, you and I will probably focus on our areas first, obviously. And there's 3 maps to do, so I don't know how long that's gonna take. And then I guess tomorrow afternoon, if there's more time, we could then start looking at a different district, maybe the second one, second district. But yeah, but I agree with you. If people could give us some times they might be available this weekend, then perhaps we could put together a Zoom for Saturday or Sunday or whenever it's going to be. Wyatt has some social plans as well. So, you know, we just need to map out some time that people can get together. But it would be preferable if the commissioners could look at, you know, their own districts when this is occurring.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it worked out really well with the Senate, with the assembly maps that we created as well, just to kind of get everyone individually to take a look at it, apply some very particular, you know, attention to that area with Wyatt there. Having Wyatt there makes it a ton easier too. He's really facile with kind of moving around those lines and showing us different options, and so I think that's good too. All right.
If we wanted to, like if I wanted to look at the 4th CD and take the maps that map 28, for instance, when I open it on Districtor, it's like still program, like it doesn't seem like I'm easily able to then start drawing like Senate maps. How, like, what am I supposed to be able to do that, or how does that work?
You mean in terms of applying that, applying the corrections that we did to it?
So like, if you want, like if Emery and Tony are looking for like my feedback, are they like, are they going to create a Senate map
I see what
at
you're
some
saying.
point? And then, because right now it's just the assembly map and you can't draw or manipulate any Senate districts on any of the maps we have right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it may be better to just more so group them by the numbering that we have here. And again, we're going to make some changes to the numbering to make it more applicable to what we have enacted at this point in time. But it may be better just to group it that way versus trying to do it on the software.
So like literally say like, you know, the painted district, the numbering for the painted districts in the submitted maps are like 40, 77, 19, and be like, oh, those two should be together. Okay. Like literally naming the numbers. Okay.
Yeah, I think that may be better just for our purposes. That way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Because then we don't have to manipulate any of the, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
All right, guys. Any other questions about the assembly nesting in the Senate? If not, we can move on to our plans with the congressional mapping. So as of today, I spoke to Jack earlier, who's been speaking to Moon. And so essentially what we're going to attempt to do is to take a look at some of the some sets of CD maps as a line drawer subcommittee. And from those, we'll run some analytics and then try to send it out to commissioners to take a look at by the end of the weekend. Ultimately, is our goal to get those. But it's we'll keep we'll keep you posted based on that timeline as well. And so so again, this weekend will be more so the Senate, but then we'll take a look at the congressional throughout the week too. So. All right. And you know, it seems like, you know, the hardest work that we've done this far has been on the assembly districts. That's going to be the most attention to detail that we've done. And so as we start to move to Senate as well as congressional, it should be quote unquote easier to do in terms of, you know, how data intensive it is and how time intensive it will be. So, okay. Any questions about the CDs? All right. All right. So the next thing we have here is the plan for posting the maps for public input. Jack and I have been talking about this earlier as well, with plans to essentially give the public time to give feedback for the maps. And so essentially what we have here is on the 30th, at least this is my timeline here, on the 30th, we are going to be submitting it to the public to take a look at all 3 sets of our maps here. And then we are running a 7-day time frame in which we can get that public input, essentially. So we will be publicizing it through media outlets, through our website as well. We can actually post it on top of the portal that we have for public submission too. You know, hopefully through that time frame, we will continue to get our feedback like we've been doing from the very beginning of this. You know, the thing that we have on our side is that for almost a year now, we have been garnering a lot of the data and garnering a lot of the community of interest, public testimony, comments, and it's really borne out in our maps here. And so 7 days may seem like a tight time frame, but again, this is just we're attempting to stick to our timeline here, and what we are producing is essentially what the people of Wisconsin have stated that they want it. So it's not as tight as it actually seems. So. Okay. Any question about that plan at all? No.
So,
yeah.
Chair Ford, so just a quick question. So how will they be able to submit their feedback? I mean, is there going to be like another like specific submission form where we're asking for like what congressional district they belong in and, you know, what their thoughts are, or, you know, and is that going to be kind of compiled and put together for us to then view?
Right. So Jack and Maddie have been discussing. I'll let Jack take it.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in because I've been talking to Moon about how that'll work with the existing portal, and because she's also doing this in other states too. So I you know, there's a little bit of somewhat of a template there. They'll be posted at least on the top of the current mapping portal, portal.wisconsinmapping.org. And, you know, of course, we can sort the comments by the date they were received. So anything that comes in after is sort of parsable out. The only thing I would say, then that's really all I have to say, other than the same types of comments that are currently available will be available through that. So they can leave a written comment, they can open one of the maps and say, listen, this is all right, but, you know, I prefer we move the assembly map through my town to go this way instead of that way. It's truly interactive, just like the current system is. So Tony has talked to me about also trying to put these on the PMC's official website, their own website, and we're going to try to do that as well. But I think what's definitely 100% ironclad going to happen is it'll be at the top of that portal. And then essentially after those 7 days, the portal closes because the commenting is over. The email addresses will all still be open, so people can send written comments after that, but not in the same sort of formal, we are taking comment on maps sort of way, if that makes sense. That's what we had discussed. Go ahead, Susan.
Sorry, will those comments be sort of centrally analyzed, or will we then be analyzing kind of like we did before? What would be the process for that for us?
I think that this will be a little more ad hoc, like there won't be a report from Moon or anything like that on these. But of course, everybody, the public and including you, can see them all in real time. And maybe I would be happy to work with Maddie or somebody in my office to try to give them to you guys in a little easier format than just going on that website. You know, there is ways to sort of sort them by written comment, by new maps with suggestions. So I'd be happy to explore that.
But no centralized sort of plan, if that makes sense. And it's kind of unclear how many, I don't know how many comments you guys will get. So hopefully a lot, but we'll have to see.
And just, I have another quick question, if I may. When it comes to then that being announced or that media release, will we be copied on that so that maybe if there are individuals or groups that we want to reach out to, kind of say, hey, our maps are available, please take a look at them and submit your feedback. Will we be able to get that information then kind of nicely
Yeah.
as like a little toolkit?
Sure. I can make sure that every media release that goes out gets forwarded you guys directly. They're really easily forwardable. And I'm working with DOA Communications to make sure that all the information will be very easy to access in those media releases. So that should be an easy thing to share with, I know a lot of you guys have done, well, to various levels of informal and formality, but outreach on your own. Actually, all of you have done outreach on your own. So that would be a really helpful thing, I think, to share it. Yeah.
Guys, anything else about public input or just kind of plan for outreach and just to kind of get our message out there more? Okay. All right. And one thing that I wanted to add on to here too is just more so about the document that will accompany the maps that we will create. I know we have members of that subcommittee here as well, but just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up about sort of the tentative timetable here. And so the 28th, I believe you guys, is the next is that subcommittee meeting for drafting committee. Okay. All right. And so essentially, there'll be a draft that'll be discussed at that time with Mike. And then on the 30th, it looks as though just tentatively we'll send it out to some of the commissioners as well, to all the commissioners as well, just to edit and to take a closer look at. And then in October, we're going to sort of hammer down and to finalize it essentially. So keep your eyes open and keep eyes out for that to be coming pretty soon. So okay.
I have a question for the part of it that I'm drafting.
Yeah.
Or Maddie, I don't know, is that something I can take offline with her, or should I ask that question here? Maddie?
Hi there.
Hi. So for the appendix on communities of interest, Melissa lovely created a one-pager description of it, but I want to put together some analytics on the data that we got, like the number of submissions around COI, a summary of what those, some examples of different COI examples, any sort of data that we can glean from all of the entries that we have. And I don't know if you've done any of that analysis so far.
Yeah, that's a great question. So let me just take a look at between what we have and what MGGG has, and then let's connect, you and I, or whomever else later this week or early next.
Okay.
So
all right. I'll tomorrow will be great. So I'll find you then.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that's all that I have from my end here. Do you guys have any other questions about just the timeline in general or anything of that nature?
I have a question of post October 15th, what we think we may be doing or needed as a commission for that week. I only say that selfishly because I'm going to be out of town for 10 days. And I'm just curious kind of what you're imagining post October 15th.
Yeah, that's something that we can discuss as well, just in going forward. But ultimately, that's to be determined. So we'll speak to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you guys have, or otherwise short and sweet? And I guess more work to be done this week and this weekend. So
Yeah, I think,
yeah, go for it.
go ahead, Ben.
I was just going to ask, I know like this past week, I believe the Wisconsin State Supreme Court had made the announcement that they're going to take the case. I mean, when that type of stuff, this news is happening fast and frequently. I mean, you know, in the past we have occasionally under, I think Chair Ford usually is the one who like releases a statement. Yeah, I was just giving a presentation on Monday about our work and no one really asked me about it. So it's not like something people are like asking the commission about it or anything, but I'm wondering if we were going to release a statement or something related to updates like that.
Yeah, and so that was something that we discussed as well. Not necessarily with regards to the Supreme Court decision, just because it doesn't necessarily change what we're going to do, right? And so, I think probably the most powerful thing that we can do is to release our maps and our methods, and continue to be as transparent as we can when produce the product and let the product speak for itself, right? But besides that, one thing that we had discussed is potentially doing an op-ed upcoming that we'll send out for all the other commissioners to take a look at, and add to just with regards to where we're at in our process, where we need to go, and what to expect from the public, and just more so getting to the public. We need your feedback based on these maps that we'll submit to you. Outside of that, there will be upcoming interviews over the next week or so. I've already done an interview earlier this week, and I think there's some more that are upcoming too, just to kind of help get the word out a little bit more. And so we're definitely working on that aspect of it, Ben. So it should be more coming out. So
awesome.
Yeah. And Tony, you have one?
Yeah, I was just gonna, specific to our work this weekend, I'll work with Anne Marie offline. We'll reach out to the commissioners that weren't able to be here and see if they can be involved over the next few days. And then maybe Anne Marie, we can coordinate a chain of emails to why it was on the call or on the meeting here, but now he's off. We'll have to coordinate with when he can be available this weekend. But so expect some emails on that, everybody.
I think he's still here.
I'm here.
Oh, is there a specific time this weekend that might work the best?
I'll plan around with you guys. I mean, probably the mornings.
Mornings are better. Okay, thank you.
I do have one other question. Moon had mentioned, I guess I'm trying to think about what the process would look like after we receive public comment. Like, is there, if I missed this, if we're going to be doing any more mapping, Moon had mentioned the ability to display the heat maps on Districtor, and having spent last weekend like providing feedback about the districts, it was like really challenging for me to do that without like an overlay of the heat maps. I'm wondering if there's any update on that, or if that's something that like we might not need going forward. I don't know.
I know the last time that we spoke, the lab was working on that. I don't know where they are. I haven't heard anything in the last couple of days, but it's definitely something we'll touch base with them about, because it's something that they feel that they can turn out pretty soon. So
okay, great, thank you.
All right. Anything else? All right, you all will look out for those emails, and we'll see you this weekend. So, okay, thanks, guys.
Bye.